Tuesday, October 5th, 2021, Monaco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. Today we're going to look at whether we have an energy crisis or is it really a currency crisis. Well, in my opinion, it's a currency crisis and it's going to get worse. Of course, the mainstream business press, mainstream economists, central bankers, politicians are going to blame inflation on rising energy prices, rising commodities. They did that in the 1970s. They blamed the stagflation on the higher price of oil, but eventually, let's say 77 to 1980 proved really that it was a collapsing fiat dollar that was the problem. And I would say it's the same today. And that's why you need to hold gold and silver as much as possible. Gold and silver, are they dead? I saw a comment yesterday in the comment section from my video from yesterday saying gold is dead. Well, many people have said over the decades, over the centuries, maybe not over the centuries, but over the decades, that gold and silver have been dead, and they keep coming back from the dead, so to speak. Even the FT said the same back in 2004. And I kept the editorial that they wrote back then. Going gold, the pointlessness of holding gold bullion continues to sink in. So that was in 2004. So gold at the time was at $400. I'm sure a lot of people at the time who might have been thinking of buying gold probably gave up, or were probably waiting for it to go back to 250 for them to buy it. And it's the same thing today with gold and silver. People worry too much about the fiat price, but what people seem to forget is that it's a currency crisis. When you inflate the money supply and the credit, like our monetary and fiscal authorities have been doing for the last decades, you're bound to get a currency crisis, because under a fiat currency system, the more debt you create, the more debt you need to keep creating. You can't stop the debt. The other side of the debt is the currency. If you pay off debt, if you try to run surpluses, governments, you will kill the economy, unless you have a very strong economy, for example, like Germany had up until the crisis started last year. But we even saw yesterday the Chancellor of the Exchequer here in the UK saying that borrowing too much public borrowing is immoral, even though last year they borrowed over 20% of GDP. He also said he's going to cut taxes, even though they're raising taxes. The guy just, you cannot believe the kind of deception that we have from our leaders, supposed leaders. And in the mainstream media, they're all diagnosing the wrong causes of this disease. They're saying, like Bloomberg here says, global energy crisis is the first of many in the clean power era. No, it's a currency crisis. It's not only energy prices that are rising, it's all commodity prices that are rising. Yes, gold and silver have been frustrating the last year or so, but they're just about to start rising a lot, in my opinion. I can't give you the exact date, but that doesn't matter if you believe in the fact that gold and silver are not dead. And I'm gonna do a little experiment in a second before I finish looking into these headlines. Well, there's a tweet here from Holger Schepitz. I think he's a journalist for one of the major German publications or newspapers. And he says here, Bloomberg Commodities Index hits record as world rebound meets shortages. Index surpasses the peak seen in 2011. Rising raw material and energy prices have stoked inflation. So he's got it completely upside down. Is he being dishonest? No, I think actually he is ignorant about inflation, and he actually thinks that it's commodity prices and raw material prices that create inflation instead of the other way around. Inflation is a purely monetary and credit phenomenon, and it's monetary inflation or inflation. I shouldn't even have to say monetary inflation. It's inflation of money and credit that results in higher prices of everything. I don't see people coming out and saying the NASDAQ or bond prices are causing inflation, because they don't. They're the consequence of inflation. It's only when they get the bad consequences, which are rising raw material prices, rising service prices, shortages, that they blame it on the consequence. So that's what you need to understand. And now quickly to why I don't think gold and silver are dead. And when I talk about gold and silver, of course, I mean real gold and silver, not the paper representation of gold and silver. First, I just want to quickly show you a book. I don't know where you can get this. This was given to me by one of my colleagues in the city. He was one of the handful of, or not even handful, I think you could count it in one hand how many gold bugs there were at MF Global, and he gave it to me, and it's called Fiat Paper Money, The History and Evolution of Our Currency by Ralph T. Foster. So there you go. My friend Aaron gave this to me. The interesting thing about this book is that it gives you the list here on both sides of the book, dedicated to the world's worthless paper money. So they've got all the countries where the paper money collapsed. So you can see here, there you go. And that's just in the back of the book. So they've got here Lot from Lebanon. They got the piastre, the livre, the pound, Lesotho, the loti, Liberia, the dollar, Libya, piastre, lira, Liechtenstein, the Heller collapse, Lithuania, the Ostmark and the litas and the talonas, Luxembourg, the krona, the gulden, the thaler, the mark collapsed, Thailand, the tikal, the baht. I mean, you get the idea. Yugoslavia, the dinar, the new dinar, and they've got also, he's also got the front here. All the currencies that have collapsed. The fiat currencies, the paper money, of course. So we've got Abkhazia, the ruble, Afghanistan, rupee, Afghani, China, Taiwan, the dollar, cash, yen. I mean, the list is really almost kind of endless. So, and now I want to show you proof that gold and silver are not dead, that you can go anywhere in the world and exchange them for the local trash. And in some countries, you're going to get a lot more local trash. And by local trash, I mean fiat currency. So, and I've got some coins here now to show you. Some of them are quite old. It just goes to show you that gold and silver are timeless. They will survive empires. They will survive, collapses of empires and leaders. They're timeless, right? So I've got here a 40 franc gold piece from 1811, and it says Napoleon, Emperor of France. Okay, so Empire of France. So there you go. Napoleon is gone. The French Empire is gone, but I can get still a lot of fiat currency for that gold piece. I'm just going to show you another gold coin. And this is more interesting for Americans. This is a $20 gold piece. And the names as well, that we need to understand that these names, dollar, franc, or whatever. They were just weights of gold and silver, hence the term weights and measures. Nowadays, when people say dollars, it doesn't really mean anything because we don't really have real money. they're just, yeah, it's just a convention. And the exchange rates, of course, used to be, for example, how many, you could get, this was $20 and this is just under an ounce of gold. And this is 40 francs, and it's about just under half an ounce of gold. So you did the exchange rate to make sure you exchange the country's coins differently. And in America, I think up until the Civil War, people could use gold pieces and silver pieces from anywhere in the world. So it was a totally free market. Nowadays, you can only use the paper currency from that country wherever you are. Yes, there are some places that still accept the Federal Reserve note or the so-called dollar, which is crazy. But here I've got $20, United States of America from 1904. So you can see there. So $20. And this is gold, of course. So it's about 0.96 of an ounce. So it's just, let's say it's just under an ounce of gold. Yes, it is 90% gold. That means that it's got gold and copper. Why is that? Well, because this was money and circulated, and people carried the coins around. So they had to make it sturdy. They had to mix it with the copper. But so this nowadays, you all know how much it's worth, an ounce of gold, and you probably even get more for this one because it's an older coin. I don't think it's a rare one, the 1904 $20 piece, and it's from Philadelphia Mint, so it's not anything special in terms of numismatics. But let's say that back in 1904 or even in 1933, when they banned gold ownership, you brought that into the Federal Reserve and they gave you a $20 piece of paper. I mean, what can you buy with $20 today, and what can you buy with this today? And again, you can go anywhere around the world and people will accept this. Even for payment, yes, you might have to exchange it for their local fiat. So yeah, I don't think this is dead. I'm going to show you some examples of paper money that are kind of useless. You might be able to buy them for very little today. So here we've got 1997 100 francs, French francs. Can you go anywhere in the world and use this or even exchange it? I don't think so. 100 francs. We've got here 1 real from Brazil. I mean, I think it's from when I was there a while ago, over about 20 years ago. You could buy probably a drink, a soft drink with that. Nowadays, I don't think you can buy anything. Even the Dutch, 25 guilders. Yeah, they're just pretty looking pieces of paper. And we got some interesting ones here from the Weimar Republic. Yes, you do. They do have some value, but they're not as valuable as it looks. So I've got 1 million marks. Am I rich? No, it's just a piece of paper. I've got here 10,000 marks. I got a whole batch of 10,000 marks. Can I change that for euros at the bank? No. So you get the idea. The paper money collapses. Gold and silver remain constant, I would say, in terms of purchasing power. Yes, there are periods, like I think we're going to go through right now, that gold and silver are going to go very far in terms of purchasing power, especially when the currencies are imploding, everything around is collapsing like we're seeing right now. And now to silver. Just show you some silver coins that and you will see here as well that silver is timeless, and that it even outlasts empires and emperors. And I've got a really special one here that I bought a couple of weeks ago. I went to a coin exposition in London, and I bought what's called a tetradrachma. So that's 4 drachmas. And this coin is, I think, about almost 3,400 years old. And it's got Alexander the Great. So there you go. Alexander the Great is gone, of course. The Greek Empire is gone, but this coin is still around, and it's still worth something. And it's 17.2 grams of silver. I don't know what the fineness of this coin is. So I've got some other ones that show you again how empires come and go. We've got 1,000 reis silver coin from Brazil from 1864, when Brazil was an empire. This coin's still worth something. It's silver, of course. 1 real is not worth much anymore. I've got some more examples of worthless Brazilian paper money. We've got here 1,000 cruzados. That's worth a lot less, of course, than this. You can see here that they did a revaluation, or they lopped 3 zeros off. Eventually, they made it a cruzado novo. It's a big mess, isn't it? What else have we got? Well, here in the UK, this is a florin from 1915, when we're still on a sterling silver standard for the coins. What's a florin? Well, it's 24 pence. What can you get with 24 pence these days? But this is a solid silver coin worth something. And this, of course, is a shilling here from 1900. A shilling is 12 pence, so this is half the size. And 240 pence used to be a pound. So there you go. Of course, the British Empire has collapsed, but their coins are still worth something. And I've got another one here. It's a $3 note. And you might think, there's no such thing as a $3 note. Well, there is. It's from the embarrassed states of America. There you go. There's Bill Clinton. It says, bill of impeachment, $3. And it's got a U-Haul there. I guess he survived, but that's just, I think that's more interesting and probably worth more than all these other paper monies. So with that, let's quickly look at where the markets are. Yesterday, gold and silver did really well. I was watching it yesterday morning and then early afternoon. We had a plumber come in yesterday, and we know him well. We had some problems with a tap, and he asked me and my wife, so what's next? And we said, what do you mean? Well, in terms of the crisis. And we said, I said to him, the cyber pandemic. He said, what's that? Well, that's when the internet collapses, everything goes down. And lo and behold, a few hours later, we saw Facebook going down for 6 hours. But apart from that, though, I went shopping with my wife. We went for a big shop at the supermarket. There's mostly everything there. And there weren't many people there, probably because it was a Monday. And then when I came back home, I saw that gold had picked up from below 1750 all the way to 1770. So it was encouraging. I saw silver rebounded as well. So we just need to be patient. And hopefully these messages or videos that I make help you understand more about gold and silver, that they're actually real money. and that they're not speculation, and that you need to ignore a lot of the noise and a lot of the volatility that's created to keep the general public away from real money and to and make them stay in this game. And I really think we're near the point where people are going to be boiled to death, so to speak, the old analogy of the frog, boiling the frog to death. We're almost there in terms of this financial monetary system. So it's 8:45 a.m. London. We've got spot gold at 1760. Yes, they've smacked it back down a bit, but it doesn't matter. It's down $9. The high's been 1773, the low 1755. I think the important thing right now is that we're making higher highs and higher lows, and that's a good thing. We just need to be patient. Silver is down 10 cents at 22.57. Range has been 22.76 to 22.39. The stock markets are still not really doing much, or they're not really picking back up. Yesterday, it was a bad day for the stock market. We saw the Dow drop 320, S&P drop 56, and the NASDAQ actually dropped 2%. Or 300 points. And in the last month, for example, the NASDAQ is down 7.2%, S&P down 5%, and the Dow down about 3.8%. Yeah, this morning they're pretty much unchanged. The NASDAQ is up slightly. I won't go through them anyway. What about the currencies? Yeah, they're pretty much unchanged as well. Sterling is unchanged at 136.07. The euro is down a bit, 0.2%. The dollar is up slightly versus the yen. The dollar is unchanged versus the yuan at 644.46. Let's check out the Antipodean currencies, or the let's see, the Aussie dollar is down 0.26% at 72.65. Kiwi dollar is down 0.2 as well, 69.50. And the dollar is up about an eighth versus the Canadian dollar at 126.04. General commodities, crude oil is 77.75, up 0.25%. High-grade copper is down 1% at 4.19. Natural gas is up 1.4% at 5.88. And yesterday, I think OPEC announced that they're not looking to increase supply. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button. Please share it far and wide. Think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't yet. And you can also follow me on Rumble, Twitter, Facebook, and all these other platforms below here. I wish you all a great day. Take care. Bye.